Yes. Yes. The question is that we said that our regular meetings don't allow Caucasians. The question is why?
1963.
The answer is that as a people, black people in particular found in the Western Hemisphere, we went through 400 years of slavery at the hands of Caucasian people. As a result of the 400 years of slavery, we lost our names, our language, our culture, our God. For the last 400 years, 100 years in particular, after so-called emancipation or the end of slavery, we have been appealing to white people for freedom, justice, and equality. We have not achieved it yet. We have been asking white people to give us freedom, justice, and equality, and to end racist practices against our people. We have not received it yet. So what we determined from the coming of Master Farad Muhammad, that rather than appeal to white people or any other people to do for us what we must do for ourselves, we determined that we would do it for ourselves. Which means now that we will build our own institutions, we will build our own schools, we will build our own manufacturing industries, factories, etc. We will do for ourselves, and in that capacity we will have meetings, spiritual meetings and gatherings which are specifically for the resurrection or the raising of our own people without participation or interference from anybody else. Based on our history, every time we have allowed you to come in and partake in our what we call family gatherings or meetings, you have usurped, disrupted, or otherwise redirected or destroyed that movement. So based on learning from history, we have determined today that the nation of Islam, following the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, will build for ourselves without the help, internal help of Caucasian people. That is the reason why we don't allow you to come into those types of meetings.
What about Arab Muslims? Can they go?
Yes, they can.
What about Europe?
Because we see the Arabs as black people. We see the Arabs, let me tell you, we see the Arabs, we see the Asians, we see the Chinese, we see the yellow, the brown, and we see us as one family. The only one who has put himself outside of the family. Not that we put you out, you put yourself out by your behavior toward the darker peoples of the earth. You put yourself out. Look, go to your dictionary. You cannot find the term yellow supremacy, brown supremacy, black supremacy. The only word you find in there of that nature is white supremacy, because white people have gone all around the planet and subjected other people to white supremacy. And so until Caucasians are willing to humble themselves and come back into the circle of the family, come back as an equal member of the family. You are not the master, and we are no longer your slaves. And so until you can accept your rightful place, which is just another member of the family, then you might be allowed to partake in the family gatherings and the family meeting. But while you conduct yourself, while you think you are God besides God, you can stay outside and practice your God behavior among yourselves. Yes, sir.
What about people who are half white, third white?
Yes. In the nation of Islam, our philosophy is that if you have one drop of black blood in you, then we classify you as a member of... Let me tell you something, sir.
I'm part Indian.
Yeah, well, that's beautiful.
What about albinos?
That's beautiful. No, hold on. What we say is that if you have a drop of black blood, and if you identify yourself with the black, then you are a member of our family.
Well, that's me.
Because, yeah, really. Yeah, you're going to have to prove that one. But the reality is, if you remember Adolf Hitler's philosophy of Aryanism, where he was really saying that the blonde hair, blue eyes, these are the master race, white supremacy in other words, and all people with dark hair or dark eyes, these are the inferiors. And so we know the reality is that this thing goes deeper than skin. We got black people who are very light skinned. So it's not even based on the skin tone or the skin color. It is really based on where do we place ourselves in humanity. Are we a human being? Can you identify with my struggle? And if you can identify with my struggle, if you sympathize with me, if you really want to help me, you don't have to come in my living room to help me, but you could go to your people and educate your people about turning from their wicked ways and doing justice unto the black people. That way we would be brothers in faith. But you wouldn't have to impose yourself in my living room. Even if you save my life today, does that give you a right to come into my bedroom tomorrow where me and my wife are? If I want to have a private meeting with my family, does that mean I have to open my door and let somebody else in? No. You have a right to have your own family gathering, so do we. But white supremacy says you black people can't have nothing of your own.
Teach.
Open the door and let us in, because we are God. And we demand that you let us in. And if you don't let us in, we'll accuse you of reverse racism.
That's right.
It is not reverse racism. All it is that we have a right, just like anybody else, to have our own private family meetings and gatherings. That's all we're doing. Yes, sir.